Okay, students. So today let's start the numerical problem. That's part 2. First part we have discussed about the sum problem. 3 problem actually we discussed, which were related about the Ohm's law. And I think you enjoyed that lesson. And today we are going to discuss the next questions. And first we will discuss the conversion of galvanometer into ammeter and voltmeter. So for you, I have already copied the question here, and you can see that question. I'll read now what is the question. So first, that's not first, fourth question, because third we have already done. A galvanometer can bear maximum current of 5 milliampere. Its resistance of 20 ohm, and how can you convert it into an ammeter? First part, we have to convert this into the ammeter, and the ammeter should have the range 0 to 10 ampere, means maximum current is 10 ampere we want to measure. And second part, voltmeter with range is 200 volt, means we want to convert that galvanometer into voltmeter, which can be used to measure the maximum voltage of 200 volt. Okay, and so let's see the first part. And so it's question number 4. That solution I am writing here, and you can copy along with me. So what is the maximum current galvanometer can measure? So Ig is that maximum current. I have given that notation. So Ig is 5 milliampere. 5 milliampere, and you can convert this 5 into 10 to the power minus 3 ampere. And resistance of the coil of the galvanometer, we give the symbol G, and this is 20 ohm. Well, and now first part we want to convert this into galvanometer, and which should measure maximum current of 10 ampere. So I should be the 10 ampere. Okay, and so if I get I 10 ampere, next thing we have to find the what resistance that we call shunt should be connected in parallel with that galvanometer. So let's see, this is your galvanometer. Okay, this symbol for galvanometer, resistance G I have denoted inside this symbol, and I have to connect one shunt resistance parallel to this. Why I have to connect shunt? You know the reason. So that only Ig current can pass through the galvanometer, and remaining all current, because total current I is coming from this, and it's divides here. Some current is going through galvanometer, and remaining goes through this shunt. So this remaining current should be I minus Ig. Okay, and now we have to find the value of shunt. So I told it, no need to remember the formula. Just you know that potential difference between these 2 points A, B, potential difference between these 2 points for upper branch and lower branch is same. So I can use Ig times G is potential difference. Potential difference across galvanometer equals to potential difference across shunt, and so current here is I minus Ig, and shunt is yes. This is B equals to IR, this is B equal to IR. I is here, I minus Ig, here I is Ig, and resistance here in the left side is G, and resistance this side is S. And so what now you want to find? Tell me. Shunt. And so for this, solve this, Ig times G by I minus Ig. I always prefer to put the value at the last, so that your calculation mistake, less chance of doing calculation mistake. Now what left here? Just put the value. Ig is 5 milliampere, so 5 into 10 to the minus 3, and galvanometer resistance is 20 ohm. Okay, and that is the I is 10 ampere maximum. So this is 10, and Ig is 5 milliampere, 5 into 10 to the minus 3. So now what left? Just to press the calculator. You can press yourself also. 25 the 100. So 100 is 1000, means that remains the 0.1. And now here is 10 minus 0.005. 10 minus 5 into 10 to the power minus 3 means more 0, right? 0.03. So this 10 minus 0.003 is nearly equal to 10. So roughly it will be equal to nearly equals to what we will get? 0.1 divided by nearly equals to 10, and so you get 0.01 ohm. So if you are going to connect 0.01 ohm resistance, then your galvanometer now as a whole, this becomes the ammeter, and that can measure the current up to 10 ampere. And so how your galvanometer now behaves? So see, this is galvanometer, this is 0 and 1, 2, 3, 4, and here is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This side also same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, and some more. Here is 5. So this was level like this. MA. Now you are changing. You have changed this into the ammeter. So your 5 milliampere will be equivalent to the 10 amperes. 5 milliampere position is taken by the 10 ampere position. So this is not equal, right? Equivalent means 5 milliampere. Where is 5 milliampere here? So here your galvanometer now. So there is a, when it becomes ammeter, so the 10 ampere. So 1 milliampere will be equivalent to 1 milliampere will be equivalent to 10 divided by 5 is 2 ampere. So of course here is 0 ampere, there will be 2 ampere, this will be 4 ampere, this is the 6 ampere, 8 ampere, and here will be the 10 ampere like this. You have to understand yourself if you are converting the galvanometer into ammeter. Same thing happens this side, 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10, this ampere, and so now your galvanometer is converted into ammeter. You can connect these two terminals to your source and you can measure up to current of 10 ampere using this. So that was our first part. I think you understood this. And next we have to, of this also there is 2 we have to convert voltmeter of range 200 volt also. So you can pause video and you can copy this figure if you want to make understand, then you can go, otherwise no need. Your answer is completely right. You can, hence we can, you can conclude, hence we can connect 0.01 ohm resistor that is called shunt in parallel with galvanometer. Okay, so this was the first part. Let's see the second part. And for second part I need the space, so I am going to rub this time. Okay, and so I am going to rub this. You can pause your video anytime to copy. Okay, and second, what we want? Second, that's B number. B number we need to convert into voltmeter. So maximum voltage we want to measure by this galvanometer is 200 volt. And this times we have to connect resistance in series. And what should be that value? Okay, again we have galvanometer G, and here I am going to connect one resistance in series, and so that current here Ig that passes through both because they are in series and current remains same, and voltage up to this point to this point. This I am writing A and here is B, you can denote yourself. So voltage from A to B will be equals to I times R. R is Rs, series, let me write R only, why do I write Rs? R plus G. Okay, but I is your Ig because your galvanometer can bear up to this much current only. Now what you want to find? Value of R. So let's solve this equation. So this VA to B is our V. Okay, that's voltage given. I am writing this V, and this Ig goes down, and on the other side remains R plus G. Now you want to find value of R. So just V by Ig minus I have to write capital G for galvanometer resistance. I wrote a small g. Okay, let me write. Okay, minus G. Is it? Now everything is known. V is given, Ig given, and G is given. So what left now? We have to just put the value. So R will be equals to V is, what will be? 200. So let me write this 200, and Ig Ig is, you told me 5 milliampere, 5 into 10 minus 3, and G is your 20 ohm. And so let's do this calculation. And you know 5 4s are 20, so this becomes 40, and this 1000 goes up. So this becomes 40,000 minus 20. You know the 40,000 is nearly minus 20 is nearly equal to 40,000. You can connect the 40,000 ohm resistance, or you want to do actually, then this becomes 39920 ohm. So if you are going to connect 39.92 kilo ohm resistance, to change in the kilo ohm, just divide by 100. You are going to convert this ammeter, galvanometer into the voltmeter, which can measure up to the voltage of 200 volt. Again, you want to make the level of your voltmeter. So this is your galvanometer. It's 0, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's level like 5 milliampere, 4, 3, 2, 1. But this time, what you have? You have 5 milliampere is equivalent to your 200 volt. So 1 milliampere will be equals to 1 milliampere 200 divided by 5. So it's equals to 5 for the 20, so 40 volt. So where is the 1 milliampere level? There will be your 40 volt. Then there will be 80 plus 40, 120, and then will be 160, and then will be the 200 volts. So you have to understand yourself. If your galvanometer is showing 1 milliampere, then it is the 40 volt. So that is not level in, because you are converting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if manufacturer do the same thing, then they already level the galvanometer in terms of ammeter, and so you can easily get. So this was the question, and so it was very easy question for you. I think you understood, and if you can conclude, always write the conclusion, because it looks so beautiful, and it will give you good marks. Hence, we can connect 39.92 kilo ohm resistance in series to convert given galvanometer into voltmeter. Okay, so that was the conclusion. And so we can write here, we have, again you pause the video and copy it if you want then. Otherwise, next, let's move to the next question. That is a little bit difficult, people think, but I don't think. This is very easy for us, because we have concept, and the people who have concept, there is nothing is difficult. I believe in these things, and I don't know about you. Still you are afraid of this numerical or not. So my first question is finished. So let me this fourth question. Let me drop this question. Okay, and so you might think that why sir is using this clothes, it cleans better than the duster. I have to do duster, but I am not using this. Does not clean this. Let me see, this is not cleaning better, and so I am using that. Okay, next question. Read the question. You can read. Are you seeing this? A resistance of galvanometer coil is 9.36 ohm, and the current required for full scale deflection is 0.0224 ampere. We want to construct this galvanometer into ammeter of reading 20 ampere for full scale deflection. Okay, and the only shunt available has the resistance 0.025. Note this. What resistance must be connected in the series with the low coil, so that we can do our job. And so it's a very interesting question. This time the writer wants to make a ammeter, and what data are given? Let's see. Galvanometer coil has resistance, that will give the symbol capital G, and that's 9.36 ohm. Don't be afraid of this point, because this is not your tension calculator does that work. Okay, and so maximum current that galvanometer beer. Means if you go through more than this your galvanometer will burn out. And so you are allowed safely to pass the current 2 to 4 ampere. Okay. And we want galvanometer that should measure the current of 20 ampere. But we can't choose the shunt this time. Shunt is already given because that's given that in our lab there is resistance. I have only one size such shunt resistance, low resistance 0.025. If I have this much only 0.025 ohm resistance, then how can we convert? Because in other question, previous question was just now we did, there was shunt we were choosing. Nobody has chosen the shunt for us. But this time shunt is already given and we are not allowed to choose the shunt. So one choice is how can you use? This is a special question, so remember, this type of questions need some proper attention. So question is, so let me draw this galvanometer and this galvanometer I draw here. And this time already shunt is given, so shunt value is here given. Okay. And what are given? This I maximum current that we want to measure I. And maximum current that galvanometer can bear is Ig. And this shunt value, remaining current should go I minus Ig through the shunt, and this shunt is also given. But if we use then this same shunt, then we can't get the full scale current deflection is 20 ampere. If you want to choose, then you can try. But don't waste our time. We are doing directly. Okay, and so here I am connecting one resistance in series with galvanometer. That resistance I don't know what the resistance that is R. But total current, what current going through this resistance and galvanometer is still Ig. Now connecting one resistance in series with the galvanometer, this galvanometer will be changed into the emitter using same shunt. But this time also we are not using the formula. What we are going to do? Tell me. We are using concept. So concept is important than the formula. So just knowing the formula is not more. But if you know that it's better, because many times you short question also and in that subjective question also you need formula. And I do not tell that you don't remember the formula, but most of the question we can use, we can do using concept also. Okay, and so here also you see that voltage across this resistance and galvanometer is same as the voltage across the shunt. So what that's your potential difference? We can write potential difference across shunt. Shunt is equals to potential difference across that's resistance R plus G. Okay, across R plus G. Let me write this shunt also. And so what is the potential difference? V equal to I R Ohm's law, and so this is the Ig times there is R plus G, both are in series, so total resistance that Ig times R plus G, and this this side I am writing the shunt, so let me write shunt only, otherwise you confuse. Okay, I minus Ig, this is current flowing through the shunt and resistance is yes, and this side I have current Ig and total resistance in that branch is R plus G. So now we have to find the value of this resistance. We are not going to find the sum because this is given. Okay, and so can you solve this? Of course you can solve. You are in 12th class student and you are genius. Believe it. I can prove that you are genius. Otherwise you would not watch this video up to here, and so many problems you would get. And you are genius, so you are reaching up to here. Okay, and so I minus Ig by Ig times S equals to, we get the R plus G. Now I need to find the value of R. So R will be equals to, let's take this G on that side. So now I minus Ig times S by Ig minus G. So what now next left? Just put the value, and I think you are good enough to substitute the value, and I is maximum current you want to measure, that's the 20 ampere, and Ig this time is 0.0224. Okay, and shunt also given, shunt was 0.0225, 0.0225. Okay, and then Ig is 0.0224 minus resistance of galvanometer coil, and galvanometer coil resistance is, okay, 9.36. So this is 9.36. Now press the calculator and very easily you can get, and you will get the answer is here. That is, you are getting 22.294 ohm, or maybe anything else, then you just press the calculator. Okay. So this was the two questions which I thought that is important numerical problem from the conversion of galvanometer into ammeter and voltmeter, and so I think you enjoyed this. And next, let me write the other question, then I'll be back again. Okay, so student, I have copied 3 more questions for you, and just now we are going to solve. And before that, I just told you that something is, and this will be the answer. I think you press calculator and get that value. Okay, let me drop this and okay, and so next question, 6th question is nichrome wire has resistance of 4.08. So when we are reading the question, then try to identify the term, that number, what it should be. Its calculated resistance is 4.08. So here is the resistance is 4.08 ohm. And given that resistance, this resistance at the temperature of 50 degrees Celsius, and so this temperature, let me write theta 1 is, that's the 50 degree Celsius, and on the resistance R2 that resistance is 4.016 ohm at the temperature of 10 degrees Celsius. So theta 2 is 10 degree Celsius. It's given. And third is what's the resistance at 25 degrees Celsius? Means R3 equals to what when temperature we have 25 degrees Celsius. So these are given for the question number 6. We are going to solve this. Okay. Now, so we have the relation for the resistance. What was the resistance relation with the temperature? R at any temperature, RT equals to R0 times 1 plus alpha delta theta. Well, so it actually becomes the theta only delta theta, and delta theta means 1 is 0, so that you can write the alpha theta. Okay, and so this is the relation we have, and so this relation I am writing here now. First one is R1, and so R1 is given as R0, I don't know what the resistance at 0 degrees Celsius, and 1 plus alpha, even I don't know, and temperature theta for the first is 50 degrees Celsius. So can I write 50 degrees Celsius? Of course I can write. Okay, and so this is our one relation. Again we have for another temperature, so this R2 equals to R0, again 1 plus alpha, and this time temperature is 10 degrees Celsius, so into 10. Okay, and this equation 2, and third is and lastly we have third also, R3 equals to R0 times 1 plus alpha, temperature this time is 25 degrees Celsius, so you write 25 degrees Celsius. This is your third equation. Now we have to solve these equations to get the value of this R3. So first let's solve equation 1 and 2. It's better way to solve it by dividing equation any by any, equation 1 by equation 2. What will you get if you divide? So this is R1 upon R2, R0 same, and so that cut, and we get 1 plus alpha, that's 50 alpha, 1 plus 50 alpha by, you are getting down 1 plus 10 alpha, and these two values are given. So R1 is 4.08 4.08 and that's 4.016, and this time 1 plus 50 alpha by 1 plus 10 alpha, you multiply it, cross multiplication. So what we are going to find from here? Alpha, of course alpha. We are going to find value of alpha from this, and so cross multiply, and so 4.08 plus 10 multiply, that's with a 40.8 alpha, and on the right side this 4.016, and you are going to multiply by 50, and so let me multiply by first 5, and so what will I get? 5 6 are 30, and so 35 with the 5 3 8, and 5 0 the 0, and so and 5 4 the 20, and there are 50, so one more 0 I have to keep, and this decimal after 3 place, so 1 2 3, so I am getting the 208.8 times alpha. And so now what we have to do? Just bring this from this side, 40.8 minus 200, 200.8, 200.8, we both have the alpha, so let me take the alpha common, and that side 4.016 minus 4.08, and so now I can get alpha equals to, now let's subtract this, and so how much you get? 4.08 minus 4.016, and so subtracting this 4 and this 7 minus 1 is 6, 0 and 0.064, actually minus 0.064 we are getting, and here is the 200 minus, again we do, I am not using calculator right now because I have to use the same mobile, and for mobile I am shooting, and so 200.8, there might be the calculation mistake, you check yourself, okay, 40.8, and so this 160, so I get 160 minus 160, and so alpha will be equals to 0.064 divided by 160. I am not going to press this calculator, I got the value of alpha, okay, and so this is, let me write the question 4. Okay, so after getting this, what I got the value of alpha. Now I have to divide equation 2 by 3 or 1 by 3, same thing, nothing will happen, and so let's me dividing equation 2 by 3, and so equation 2 is R2 by there is R3, again R0 cut, and so I got 1 plus 10 alpha by, and denominator that's 1 plus 25 alpha, and so now we have the value of R2 and I don't have the value of R3, and so I will write R3 equals to 1 plus 25 alpha by 1 plus 10 alpha times R2. Now everything you have 1 plus and 25 by alpha value of you just got here, press this, and 1 plus 10 times, again you are getting alpha value, and what result you are getting? Multiply this by R2, and R2 resistance was 4.016, and finally you press the calculator and you will get, probably you will get the answer of I think answer is 4.04. Probably you will get the 4.04 ohm resistance. So this was the question, and this question I choose for the temperature dependence of resistance. If this type of question also come, then you can use and you can solve. Let me switch on the light because it's going to be dark. Okay. So now next, again you want to copy, then you can pause video anytime and you can copy. I am going to drop this because I have to do the next question. Well, so next question is a wire has resistance of 2 ohms. So wire A has resistance of 2 ohms. See this. One wire has resistance, that's I am writing R1H 2 ohm resistance. And wire B made of the same material is twice its length. So I am writing 4 wire A. There are 2 wire A and 4 wire B. I have one wire whose resistance is 2 ohm and its length maybe suppose length is L, and wire B has of the same material is twice as long as A, means its length L2 is twice L. Okay, and resistance I don't know what is resistance. I think they will ask same thing. Okay, and has half of the diameter of the wire A. Means diameter of second wire is half of diameter of first wire. I am writing diameter of first wire is D. Then its diameter will be the D by 2. Now they are asking that find the resistance of the wire B. So what is the resistance of wire B? And you know the resistance equal to R equals to rho L upon A. Rho is resistivity and both wire of same material, so I can tell resistivity rho 1 equals to also rho and rho 2 equals to also rho, because resistivity of the both wire is same as they are made from the same material. R equal to rho L by A, and so rho L is given and area is not given, so I can write pi d square upon 4. And so this is for the first wire, and so I am writing 1 so that I am not confused. Okay, and so this when I can write rho 1, but later it will be same. It's resistance for the first wire. So what can you do for the next? Same formula and everything is same. So this time rho is rho 2, L is L2 and 4 is still there. Pi is constant and diameter is D2 and that is square. Now I got the two relation, and what I will do? You know that we are going to divide, so that all constant will got. So dividing equation, which you want to divide? Dividing equation 2 by equation 1. So what will you get? So I get here R2 upon R1 and that side, okay, rho 2 L2 4 by pi D2 square, and then here rho 1 L1 4 by pi D1 square. As I told, rho 1 and rho 2 are same, I can cut. Pi itself a number cutting, and this 4 also cut, and so what you will left with? You will left with L2 by D2 square by you are getting a L1 by D1 square. It's very easy to solve this. Now this become L2 upon D2 square, and just make it opposite D1 square by L1. Now I know the values. L2 is twice L and L2 is twice L, and D1 is D square, and then D2 is half of the diameter. I think it's given in the question. D2 is D by 2, so D by 2 whole square, and length L1 is L1 length. So let me cut. It's cutting. D square also cut, and so 2 square goes up, becomes 4, and 4 to the 8. So I got 8. R2 by R1 equals to 8. And so what will be R2? Tell me. R2 is equals to 8 times R1. So 8 times R1 is 8 to the 16 ohm. So that was the resistance of the second wire. And so see, this question are so easy, question not difficult. Someone might have told us numericals are difficult, but I don't think all numericals are easy. You should have good concept of the theoretical part. That's enough. Okay, let's move to the third question. So I don't require this first two questions. I am going to drop this. So calculation might be mistake. I have told you several times, so you can please calculate yourself. Okay, next third question. I say it's number question because we have solved all question in the first part of numerical problem. If you think any other question you need to do, then you can write in the comment. I will try to solve. Okay, and here is a strip of metal 1.2 centimeter wide and this was centimeter thick. So what is given actually? This is the length and this breadth, width, and means I am writing B. B is 1.2 centimeter. 1.2 centimeter. So what actually this saying? Then we have wire. We have wire like this. Okay, and it has the width of the wire is giving 2 centimeter and thickness. This thickness of the wire is given the 1.5. So for the time being, you want to write thickness T only, then I can write because there is no confusion in the time here. So I can write this only. 1.5 into 10 to the minus 3. It's given in centimeter and it's also centimeter. So I need to change into meter. 10 to the minus 2. And so this 10 to the minus 2 multiplied 1.5 into 10 to the minus 5. Both are now in meter and carries the current up. And so if B and T is given, I can just find its area, right? This is L into B rectangular shape, and so area of cross section I can get B into T just like L into B. And so this 1.2 into 10 to the power minus 2 times 1.5 into 10 to the power minus 3. Oh, 10 to the minus 5. And now we can multiply 12. 12 have the 60 and 12 1 the 12. 12 plus 6 18. So I think we got the 12 has 60 and this one to 1.8 into 10 to the power minus 7 meter square. So I got the area of cross section 1.8 into 10 to the power minus 7 meter square. So I got the area of cross section, and then given okay, and current is given. Current passing through the AC is okay 0.5 ampere. So 0.5 ampere means 1 by 2 amperes, makes easier to calculate. Okay, and then cesium to contain this much number of free electrons, the small n, number of electron per unit volume. We had told that number of electron point volume, that's we give the symbol n, and that n is given. What's given? See in the question. 5 into 10 to the power 12. 5 into 10 to the power 22. Sorry, 22 per, I think cm cube per cm cube. Okay, per cm cube. And so again I have to change this into meter cube. 5 into 10 to the power 22, and so 3 times 100 dividing means 10 to the minus 6, and so this one 10 to the power 20, 28 per meter cube. And so number of electron point volume is also given in the question only. And electronic charge, even they give you or don't give you, you know the value, that's 1.6 into 10 to the minus 19 coulomb of this electron has this much charge. Now these electrons which are moving through this conductor, how fast these electrons are moving? They are moving through the conductor, and so you need to find the velocity of that. That average velocity is called the drift velocity. I told you the formula, do you remember? I equals to dNr. Do you remember? dNe. And now what we need? Only drift velocity, and so drift velocity Vd will be equals to, or even write the V because no other velocity here. So I upon nr. And so value of current is given 1 by 2, and so this becomes the 1 by 2, and this E 1.6 into 1 minus 19. And number of electrons, just point volume 5 into the power 28, 5 into 10 to the power 28, and that's area of cross section we found here. Area of cross section 1.8 into 10 to the power minus 7, and is again what do we have to do? Tell me. Just press the calculator and you will get the answer like this, or you might get different answer. Don't worry, your calculation should be right. There is no any other mistake, and so this is the drift velocity. Okay, and so now this question also is solved. So 8 questions of different concepts we have covered in these 2 parts of the numerical problem. If more comments and more questions you want, then I will make the other video also later on also. And so I think you are enjoying our lessons, and if you have enjoyed, then I should not tell you that spread this message to your friends, and so that there will be more people will be benefited by the same video. Are you enjoying? Yes? Do comment. Thank you very much.